are here for this. My name is Patu Megadata. I'm a co-founder and the type director at Moniac. That's a Sinhala Tamil Latin or Sinhala Tamil English typeface design studio. We design fonts, we make multilingual typography, and this year is our 10th year anniversary, and we are very happy and grateful to be curating these 2-day events on designing a nation. Ooh, it sounds big, but you know, we are talking about serious things, but we are not taking ourselves too seriously. So that's the vibe we are going for in these talks. These are dialogues, so we're gonna just talk about stuff. It will be very informal, and we had just had the first panel a while ago about South Asian design and South Asian identities in business, and we are building a little narrative that will conclude tomorrow evening with the last panel about what would the unified Lankan identity look like. So we are going to go into the second panel, new ways of design beyond the Western textbook. So since I'm curating, I'm setting a little nimitta or the setup for each of these panels, and this is something that I've been thinking about when I started as a typeface designer, graphic designer. These are all the different terminology and disciplines that we found out, I learned about. Typography, type design, lettering, calligraphy, everything to do with letters. I had a deep interest in letter forms, but as a typeface designer, I've been researching and working and thinking about all these things. But when I'm asked to define myself constantly on my LinkedIn bio and Instagram bio and to define what I am doing, I go into this crisis. Then we have this beautiful word in Sinhala, akuru. I feel like everything I do is with akuru, so can we make a new word and just be done with it? I'm doing akurography. And the second nimitta comes from my deep sort of interest in open source culture and copyleft culture. This is the copyleft symbol. It's a play on the copyright idea, using copyleft like open source licenses, sharing everything under so everybody can access them freely. So I've been advocating for this. But this is again coming from the Western world, and we have been giving out everything that we do for free, but so we haven't been making a lot of money, that we need to really sustain our work. So instead of going to all these licenses, can we look at what we have been doing here? We have been doing Dansala for all these times. We raise money, we feed everybody, we have fun. So that's my nimitta for the new ways of design. We have an exciting lineup of panelists. I'm going to hand over to Chaturangi, who's going to run this dialogue, and she will introduce. She's a lecturer and a designer. She's a lecturer at the Department of Integrated Design at University of Moratuwa, and she'll explain the format that we're going for and everything else. Here to Chaturangi.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you so much. It's great to be here. Thank you for having us. So this design dialogue is called New Ways of Design. Patrick is very excited about the topic. He came up with it. He changed it from the original because he wanted it to be New Ways of Design. And I think all of the panelists in this panel are very excited about the topic as well and talking about new ways of design. We have Sanskar joining us. Thank you. We were waiting for our last panelist, but he's here. So it's going to be a very interesting dialogue and a conversation. So we're going to start off. We have 3 panelists here today. Sanskar from India, I think he was here in the morning. I heard a lot about your speech. It was amazing, it seems. We have Dilina, who is also here in the morning as well. And we have Sophia. We are so excited to have you here with us as well. So it's certainly going to be a very exciting discussion on new ways of design, and this is also titled Beyond the Western Textbook. So when it comes to design, I mean, we as educators or researchers or designers, when it comes to design, there is so many ways that design is taught. There's so many ways that design is understood across our universities or workplaces or wherever, right? I mean, when we look at the books that we read, to the case studies that we might analyze, or the design processes that we follow, or the design frameworks that we actually take and try to discuss with our students. There is a lot of Western thought into it, and it comes from a lot of Western textbooks. And today's dialogue, which is titled New Ways of Design, beyond the Western textbook, we are here to ask some important questions as to, does design actually belong to somewhere, or is it something that is rooted in different cultures across different histories? Whether it's rooted from people, whether, is it from the making and the living that we understand and discuss design in so many different ways. So these are some of the questions that we are trying to explore today in this design dialogue, and to really understand what happens beyond the Western textbook that we initially talked about, right? So we hope to bring some of our own stories, some of our own materials, and some of our own ways of looking into design. So before we start, I want to also reflect on one of the projects that I recently concluded with my students at the level 2 of the Department of Integrated Design at University of Moratuwa. So we started off by looking at the coconut tree, right? And so the students really did so much of experimentation with the coconut itself. So all parts of the tree, they looked at the shell, they looked at the leaves, the palm, so much of it, right? And they did experiment a lot with it in terms of how humans interact with it, how cultures, interact with it, our histories with, the coconut. There's so much of stories that is running behind centuries that is associated with the coconut tree. So they mapped all of these rituals, they mapped all of these histories, they experimented with the materials, they looked at heritage crafts, healing systems that's associated with Ayurveda. So these are all of the generational practices that's associated with the coconut, right? We also went and met with different craft communities, and there were so many stories that we learned from these people. How they get the materials, the hardships, how much they value what they do, and the pride that they had in what they created. So we went and chatted with them. We talked about their past. So many conversations that actually came up. And this lady was actually telling us a story about how the elephants, come into their gardens now and take off all the coconuts, the coconut trees, and I think Tilina will be better suited to talk about human-elephant conflict and what our students are actually doing with that also. But amidst all of these, discussions, there were a lot of other, material qualities that we talked about. So these designs that the students later on did were actually rooted very much in not just the material itself, not just what we learn as design in frameworks, but what was also rooted in the histories and the cultures and how these people actually make it part of their lifestyle, right? So our students actually interacted with all of these communities, with the culture, with the history, with the roots of it, in terms of understanding and trying to bring design and trying to understand new ways of design for all of this. So they later on also discussed about the different market aspects of it, how we can blend it into the new world, the modern world, and they interacted with different materials, coming up with new materials rooted in different histories and also the different cultures, and coming up with new things. Of course, some of these things didn't work well, but that was also part of the process, right? And so these are some of the experiments that the students did. These are some of the products, the prototypes that they came up with. Interestingly, this earlier picture was of a heel pole cutter. I think that's also from our traditions, from our grandparents and great-grandparents, how the little ones are bathed, right? And then how do we bring it to a new culture, and how do we bring it to today's society in terms of design? So I think what I want to see through these few images is how design is, not just to be looked at in one single way, but there are so many multiple ways, cultures, histories, roots coming together to talk about design. So I think in that sense, we're talking about new ways of design. We're going to start off with Sanskar, who is here from India. When I look at your work, when I saw the pictures that you had sent, your work through the homework studio, Sanskar's practice feels very, very alive. It feels very, very grounded. And I think we first of all love to hear about how his experiences across different illustrations that he has done, the different immersive spatial installations that has done, and coming through to that into our discussion of new ways of design. Sanskar, do you want to just jump right in? Yes?